Hey guys, it's Dom here, and today I'm basically doing an info dump on the new Gwent expansion, Master Mirror, which will be dropping very soon actually. It's going to be dropping at the end of June, on June the 30th, so keep your calendars marked out and booked for that. And literally in this video I'm just going to go through everything we know so far in a kind of speedy fashion, just so people who don't want to watch a full 30-minute clip can just watch this instead. So with this expansion they're going to add over 70 new cards, and 11 of those are going to be neutral cards. They have specified kind of what these cards are going to be, but I'll mention what that is all about later. For now I'm just going to talk quickly about the pre-order bonus, and that is that if you get the pack, which in pounds is £44.19, I don't know what it is in dollars or euros, but this comes with 25 premium Master Mirror kegs, 10 regular Master Mirror kegs, the Gwent dim skin shown in front of you, the Master Mirror card back, which changes from what you can see here to this glowing red version. You gain a title, which is the word Immortal, which you can just equip instantly, and you also get something which has just been known as the Master Mirror's most powerful offer, so very nice and cryptic. But anyway, on to the actual content which we're getting. They've announced that they're adding 7 new keywords into the game, which I'm going to go through, and all of the cards are sort of into the actual history and story behind the character Gwent Dim, because although you only got to really see him in Hearts of Stone and a little bit in Witcher 3 at the very beginning of the prologue, he's got a lot of stories behind him, and if you look into a lot that's already in The Witcher 3, you can kind of hear him pop up here and there, which is really cool. Anyway, we're going to quickly go through these keywords. So we've got Veil, which is a status that prevents this unit from gaining other statuses, so that will mean poison, vitality, bleeding, these are the ones that they mentioned at least. Things like that won't be able to affect them. Rupture, which is at the end of the owner's turn, this unit will damage itself, and it will remove all statuses, including Rupture. Then there's Veteran, which I believe was actually in the original Gwent, either the open beta or the one in Witcher, for Skellig, which is at the starts of round 2 and 3, units of this ability will gain 1 base power. And finally we have Echo, which means at the start of the round it will move this card from your graveyard to the top of the deck and give the card Doomed. So one thing they mentioned about Echo is that there'll be 1 Echo card, a gold special Echo card for each faction, and 1 for neutral, which they have shown and we'll get to later. Now the other 3 keywords that they've got are Devotion, Conspiracy, and Symbiosis. So Devotion is something which is basically going to be a big reward for not playing neutral cards, because it's a bonus ability for those decks which stick to their faction exclusively. And they also mentioned in the big developer blog that they want to have a big card for each faction with Devotion with it, just so people kind of feel like, oh, if I don't run any of this neutral tech, I can run this instead, and it will be kind of an interesting play. There's Conspiracy, which is the kind of Nilfgaardian one, which is trigger if the target has spying. So this is not only just for spying cards, this is for cards which you have on your side of the field and interact with your spies on the other side. And finally we have Symbiosis, which is when you play a nature card, spawn a wandering treant and set its power equal to the number of Symbiosis units you control. So it's basically a bit of Swarm for Squirrel. Now onto the cards they've revealed. I'm going to give my first and initial opinions on them and move on. We have Master Mirror, a 6 power, 10 provision cost with Veil and Deploy. Transform the leftmost card in your hand into a random legendary card from your faction that was not in your starting deck, and he repeats this ability every time you played the rightmost card in your hand. This is a really interesting card and would be great for arena runs, but due to the fact of you not being able to control what's in the positions, it's not as broken as it might first appear. Now we have Marlene, she's the Spoon Lady from Blood and Wine, and she is a 6 power, 6 provision cost unit with Veil, and has the order give a unit Veil. Now because this is order instead of deploy, it means it will take a turn unless you use Zeal onto this to actually get off the ability, so there is a bit of risk to reward with it, although because it has Veil itself, it's not likely to be locked or given any other status, so it's something very nice for kind of giving your units protection. Next we have Romansea, which is the Echo spell card for neutral, and it has the ability to play any card from your deck, and because it has Echo, it means at the start of the next round after being played, it will go onto the top of your deck. So it is very strong, but it has a 12 provision cost for a reason, because obviously a card like this is so versatile that in any situation you can just choose the card you need the most. So I think this is very good and will have some interesting plays in the actual game. Next we have Squirrel, you know, a very interesting card here, a 4/4 with deploy, banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. So basically this is the anti-Echo mechanic, or anti-Skellig as well, and as it's neutral you can run it in any deck. So I feel like if Echo cards like Romansea happen to become the meta, something like Squirrel could be just run in every deck like First Light was when Gwent first started up and Weather was the mainstream. That was in closed beta if you didn't play it that long ago. Now we have the legendary from Skellig, Tig v Tirsek, which is difficult to pronounce. A 5 power in the first round, but 7 power in the third and 6 in the second. 11 provision cost unit with deploy, give an enemy unit rupture. So this is basically just a way of doing a bit of slow and risky removal on an enemy, or a lot of damage, so your units can have their bloodthirsts go off, and it has quite a few cool synergies with Gwent cards in Skellig. Next we have the Angry Mob for Nilfgaard, who when deployed will damage enemy unit by 2, and if that unit was a spying unit, this card will boost itself by 2. So it's basically that idea of just kind of rooting out spies in, you know, your opponent's ranks and then destroying them and getting the boost from this. And that kind of extra play together is something that Nilfgaard spies would probably really like to have, especially as this would become a 7 power 4 provision cost card if played correctly. Next we have the Oak Critters, which are Treants with 2 power and 4 provision cost. When deployed on the melee, will give an enemy unit bleeding for 3 turns. On the ranged, it will spawn a base copy of this card, and Devotion, it will play both of these abilities, but it's not going to be in the way where if you play both on the melee, it's not going to give bleeding twice, it's just you choose one to give bleeding. And those are all the units they showed, but they did show 2 kind of token units, like the Treant, which is going to be from Symbiosis, which is very cool looking, but I don't really see this getting ever that strong. And finally we have the Young Dryad, a doomed unit with Symbiosis as well, so that would probably go into a lot of combos, and it's probably just someone from what I'm assuming is going to be a legendary or a special card in Squirrel. But that's pretty much all the news that we have at the moment. When new stuff drops, I'm going to put it out on this channel. Hopefully you guys will watch it and enjoy it. If you have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I hope to see you next time. And I hope to see you when this expansion drops in a few matches.